The Tesla Robotaxi is officially live in Austin, Texas. At least that is for a select group of Tesla influencers and early testers, with a broader rollout to the public expected to follow soon. Elon Musk made the announcement on June 22nd with a post on X promising that the first autonomous rides would begin Sunday afternoon with an introductory flat rate of $4.20 per trip. The service kicked off with a fleet of about a dozen Model Ys, while more are expected to join as the service expands. Initial testers are able to order their rides anytime from 6 a.m. to midnight, with destinations inside a total coverage area that represents about 15 to 20 square miles along the south side of Austin. The process is similar to ordering up a traditional rideshare through Uber or Lyft. It's all done with the Tesla app on your smartphone. Aside from the obvious, there are a few features that make the Tesla Robotaxi experience stand out from the typical Uber ride. For one, your music and video streaming services will be preloaded into the car when you arrive, along with any climate control preferences. There is, of course, no driver, but there will be a Tesla employee doing safety monitoring sitting in the front seat during this initial launch period. Based on initial videos released over the weekend, it appears their sole job is to sit back and enjoy the ride. When riders ask questions about the service, the monitors seem to indicate they aren't able to offer much in the way of information, and if there's a need to schedule an unexpected stop, the communication all happens between the rider and a remote operator while the safety monitor sits on the sideline. For whatever reason, throughout their shifts, these safety monitors seem to be keeping their right hand over a button located on the passenger door. In a normal Model Y, this is the same button used to open the door, but it's unclear exactly what would happen were one of them to push the button while traveling down the road. Presumably, the idea is that hitting the door button would immediately stop the car and notify the folks at a remote control center to help take over if needed. Just like on Lyft or Uber, there's a place on the app to leave a tip, but it won't be going to the passenger safety monitor. For one thing, the cars are expected to operate without any working humans just as soon as Tesla makes sure everything is going as planned. But if you try to leave a tip, you're greeted by a cute illustration of a punk rock hedgehog, complete with leather jacket and the words, "Just kidding." In the first few days of operation, the autonomous vehicles appear to be performing about as well as they could have hoped. They are navigating Texas traffic, wildlife, and even tight parking lots with ease. One thing they aren't doing is obeying the speed limit, which isn't to say that the cars are driving dangerously fast, but in early tests, the cars would frequently exceed the posted speed limit by a few miles per hour in order to keep up with the flow of traffic. Other than the occasional steering wheel jerk, the autonomous Model Ys by and large performed the same way as any human driver, keeping up with the cars around, taking advantage of holes in traffic to make up time, and even on one occasion, briefly driving in the wrong lane of traffic while no cops were around to catch the mischievous robot chauffeur. The first robotaxis are running a custom version of the full self-driving software, but are otherwise essentially stock. Rather than taking a traditional taxi approach and giving the cars a consistent color scheme, the robotaxis appear to come in all the standard colors of the Model Y, with some robotaxi brand logos affixed to the sides and back of the cars. This is a promise almost 10 years in the making. For almost as long as Tesla has been revolutionizing the electric car industry, it's been flirting with automation and developing a roadmap for full self-driving. It all started in 2016 when Elon Musk released his Master Plan Part 2. This was the first time Musk proposed the idea that someday Tesla owners would be able to make money from autonomous vehicles when they weren't needed by their owners. At the time, he called it the Tesla Network. It was a bold idea. The Model X had just been released, and what was still called autopilot was little more than adaptive cruise control provided by a third-party company called Mobileye. That same year, Tesla would end its relationship with Mobileye and begin developing its own self-driving technology, a system that at first relied on a combination of both radar and cameras, but would eventually switch over to a vision-only system, or, as Musk likes to draw comparison to, an autonomous system using the same senses that humans have always relied on to drive. In 2019, Tesla hosted Autonomy Day, and Musk predicted there'd be 1 million Tesla robotaxis on the road by the end of 2020. That deadline obviously came and went while the technology continued to improve for the limited segment of Tesla owners who chose to pay extra for full self-driving. By 2022, Musk felt this goal was once again within reach. On an earnings call that year, Musk announced that Tesla would be creating a purpose-built robotaxi and that it would be released in 2024. And while it wasn't exactly released that year, Musk did reveal the prototype for the vehicle. In October 2024, Tesla hosted the We Robot event, where the Cybercab was demonstrated for the first time. A two-seater vehicle with no steering wheels or pedals and a consistent metallic hue that's not painted but instead actually infused into the body panels themselves. The Cybercab is still expected to come out sometime next year, supposedly at a price point of under $30,000, but in the meantime, the Model Y has become the first Tesla robotaxi, with the company promising that all Teslas with full self-driving will one day be able to join the robotaxi network. The small number of testers who have had a chance to experience the Tesla robotaxi are already familiar with FSD supervised. Most of them have it on their own personal vehicles. And the performance of the robotaxi appears to be pretty similar to that of the current builds running on the newer Teslas today. In other words, while the first group of test subjects were definitely impressed, they've already used their own full self-driving car, so we shouldn't be expecting shock and awe. Really, the closer the robotaxi software is to consumer FSD, the better this looks for Tesla. It means there's not a huge gap between what's possible in a controlled test and what they've already put out into the world for anyone to use. The biggest difference with Robotaxi is the car won't nag them to pay attention if they decide to check their email or play a game on the in-car entertainment system. It makes sense that the cars would drive in ways that are similar to that of real human drivers. That's because they were trained on millions of hours of data derived from owners piloting their Teslas through a near infinite variety of situations. Tesla was able to use this training data to go from a code-based system where the computer is essentially programmed how to drive and what to do in specific situations to that of a neural network that essentially allows the car to think in the same way as a human driver would. That is, if a human driver had 9 eyes continuously watching in every direction without ever blinking. This all-vision approach to self-driving technology is probably the biggest differentiator between Tesla and its competitors. Almost everyone else is using a variety of technologies to capture information from the road, and this typically involves both radar and LiDAR. At this point, it's fair to say that both systems have shown success. Waymo, a self-driving endeavor owned by Google's parent company, has actually been offering driverless rides in Phoenix, Arizona since at least 2022. Through a partnership with Uber, they have expanded to several other American cities and actually launched their own Austin operation a few months ago. Some critics have suggested that Waymo is winning the race towards autonomy, with the company operating 1,500 vehicles in a handful of cities and plans to more than double their fleet by the end of next year. But Waymo doesn't make their own vehicles. First, Jaguar produces the base vehicle, and then Waymo outfits it with all the self-driving tech. Aesthetically, the end result is night and day, as the YouTube creator Hyperchange picked up on when he noticed a Waymo near his drop-off location after taking a Tesla robotaxi ride. Each Waymo vehicle costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000 to produce, and most go through an extensive process to add the custom technology to the factory-built Jaguar. By comparison, a Model Y starts at under $40,000. Tesla produces thousands of Model Ys a day, and every single one of them can be turned into a fully autonomous vehicle at the flip of a switch. That's not to mention the millions of privately owned Teslas that could be integrated into the platform Musk first envisioned with the Master Plan Part 2. So there are multiple players with multiple different approaches. Let us know in the comments below which one you think will win out.